Turkey vultures are very large birds. They're larger than hawks. They're considered raptors. Not as big as eagles and condors, but still very big nonetheless. First I thought this might be a dark, more ferruginous hawk. So this is about 2:30 p.m. at Lake Hodges in California. This is San Diego County, slightly south of Escondido, California. In the background you can see all the dead trees that comprise what used to be a ghost forest in a flooded area, during wetter times when Lake Hodges extended all the way east across the I-15 freeway. But now the water levels have receded. So when you slow this down, I just noticed there was a dude there. You can see him later on throughout the video. And I don't know if he's a conservationist or a fisher or whatnot, but perched over there is the partner of this vulture, or maybe just another fellow vulture. I can't really tell any details with regards to sex and whatnot, seeing as they appear to be the same size. So the turkey vultures are large dark birds with long broad wings, and they have long fingers at their wingtips and long tails that extend past their toe tips in flight. So they're doing a lot of this soaring behavior. Oftentimes they just ride the thermals and try to use economy of motion and thermals to not beat their wings too much. Turkey vultures appear black from a distance, as they do throughout most of this video, but up close they are dark brown with a featherless red head and pale bill. At many points throughout this video you can see the underside of their wings has a large row of white feathers juxtaposed against the black feathers in the forefront. They are common around open areas such as roadsides, suburbs, farm fields, countryside, and food sources such as landfills, trash heaps, and construction sites. On sunny days look for them to be aloft as early as 9 a.m. In colder weather, and at night they roost on poles, towers, dead trees, and fence posts. So there's a lot of dead trees here due to the ghost forest that once was, and to some extent still is, although there's a lot of new vegetation coming up in what used to be the lake bed of Lake Hodges. Turkey vultures feed on carrion, such as roadkill. They'll go to dumpsters. They might sometimes eat insects and vegetation, but their prime mode of feeding is still on carrion. They're scavengers. They like to soar a lot like they do now, and sometimes it seems like they're soaring aimlessly. I once read that vultures will go very, very high into the atmosphere at a distance which they can't possibly be seeing animals or carrion to eat, but they can often watch how the other vultures are flying and circling around things and join in. If they detect based on flight patterns that other vultures are honing in on carrion, they'll go and investigate themselves. Vultures in general have phenomenal eyesight, sense of smell, and immune systems. They won't contract things like botulism and anthrax, cholera, salmonella infections, etc. from eating rotting carcasses. They're deft foragers, targeting the softest bits first, and are even known to leave aside the scent glands of dead skunks. Turkey vultures are often found in farmland, forest, and rangeland, so they're particularly noticeable along roadsides and landfills. They have a huge range covering all of South America and most of North America up until the southern edge of Canada. At night they roost in trees, on rocks, and in other high secluded spots. They don't build full nests. They may scrape out a spot in the soil or leaf litter, pull aside obstacles, or arrange scraps of vegetation or rotting wood, and they might use these nest sites repeatedly for a decade or more. Vultures can get poisoned by lead from eating shot animals, and they're sometimes erroneously trapped or shot due to the belief that they spread disease, but they actually reduce the spread of disease. And they have very strong immune systems, so they don't pass on a lot of those diseases that other animals would get from eating carrion. Their numbers have been on the increase since 1966, so they're a very successful large raptor population. The wingspan can reach 170 to 178 centimeters. That's huge, much larger than that of the ferruginous hawks that I mentioned in the beginning of this video, but they weigh about the same, up to 2 kilograms. Turkey vultures have such an amazing sense of smell that they can detect a dead rat under a pile of leaves in a forest that you or I would never find except by kicking into it by chance. And they also have very excellent eyesight, which is rare among most animals because most animals only have one really good sense. These birds have 2 really good senses, so they can see things literally in forests flying over the canopy that black vultures cannot.